Hello and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. Now, India, Iran and Afghanistan have inked the historic Chabahar Port Agreement. Now, Prime Minister Modi has called it a corridor of peace and prosperity. That is the big story that we'll be looking at. But let us begin with the headlines. India-Iran signed agreement to develop Chabahar Port, a trilateral agreement including Afghanistan signed for transport and transit corridor. Prime Minister hails historic agreements as he wraps up his two-day visit to Iran. Sarbanand Sonowal to be sworn in as new Chief Minister of Assam. Prime Minister among dignitaries to be present. Kerala Governor invites Pinarayi Vijayan to form the next government. Some respite from the heat. Rains in several parts of the country bring down temperatures considerably. At least 150 people killed and 200 others wounded after a chain of attacks in Syrian cities of Tartus and Jable. And the United States says it respects Pakistan's sovereignty but will continue to target terrorists who hurt American interests. Pakistan summons US envoy to register protest over US drone strike in its territory that killed Afghan Taliban leader Mullah Mansour. The big story that we are tracking, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrapped up his two-day Iran tour on Monday. The highlight of the event, of course, was the bilateral agreement on the development of the Chabahar port. Well, apart from that, a trilateral agreement with Iran and Afghanistan was also signed on a transit corridor. Prime Minister Modi said that the agreements are a historic step in developing the entire region.
Many days of separation are over. Night of wait is coming to an end. Our friendship will stay forever.
A bilateral agreement bringing together India and Iran on the developing of the strategic Chabahar port into a transit hub, signed in Tehran.
We are all witnessing creation of history, not just for the people of our three countries, but for the entire region.
The port will assist India to bypass Pakistan and give it access to Afghanistan and Europe. India is investing $500 million for the development of phase 1 of the port.
The agreement of the establishment of a trilateral transport and transit corridor signed just a while ago can alter the course of history of this region.
Chabahar port, located in the Sistan-Baluchistan province on the energy-rich Persian Gulf nation's southern coast, lies outside the Persian Gulf and is easily accessed from India's western coast, bypassing Pakistan. Besides this, India was also party to a trilateral agreement with Iran and Afghanistan on the transport and transit corridor around the Chabahar port.
تصمیم امروز و توافق امروز بر علیه هیچ کشوری نخواهد بود و اونچه فعالیت سه کشور هست به نفع کل منطقه و به ویژه به نفع صلح و ثبات منطقه خواهد بود.
I thank them because they believe that Afghanistan is going to be stable and they're wagering on our stability, not on our destruction.
Besides the two agreements, India and Iran also pledged to combat terrorism and radicalism. Apart from that, agreements on further deepening ties in the fields of economy, trade, culture, science and academic cooperation were also signed.
We have agreed to consult closely and regularly on combating threats of terrorism, radicalism, drug trafficking and cybercrime.
Before wrapping up his two-day tour, Prime Minister Modi called on Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei has a final say over matters related to Iran's foreign policy and key issues. Modi gifted Khamenei a rare 7th century manuscript of the Holy Quran. The Prime Minister also inaugurated an international conference that is part of the Cultural Festival of India and Iran. He released a Persian manuscript to highlight the centuries-old cultural ties between the two countries. Modi later departed for India after wrapping up what is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Iran in 15 years. Qurban Ali's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
In another news, President Pranab Mukherjee will leave today for a 4-day visit to China with an aim to further broaden ties between the two Asian economic giants. He will deliberate on a range of key issues, including the contentious ones with the Chinese leadership. The president will be meeting his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping. He'll also meet Premier Li Keqiang and other top leaders. President Mukherjee is likely to raise the issues of China blocking India's bid to get a UN ban on Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar and its stand that New Delhi must sign the non-proliferation nuclear treaty to get a membership of the elite nuclear suppliers group. Now, the lingering boundary issue may also figure in the talks. A key engagement of the president will be a roundtable of vice-chancellors of Chinese and Indian universities. A number of MOUs will be signed between academic institutions of both the nations. Meanwhile, China has countered India's assertion that France was included in the nuclear suppliers group without signing the NPT. Now, Beijing has said that France was a founder member of the elite group and so the issue of accepting its membership does not arise. Well, the comments come ahead of President Pranab Mukherjee's visit to China. Beijing has called for in-depth talks to build consensus over India's admission into the NSG. This comes days after Pakistan staked claim to join the 48-member grouping with the purported backing from Beijing. Beijing has been insisting that India sign the NPT. Now, China has also acknowledged differences among the NSG members in the backdrop of US supporting India's bid to join the grouping based on its non-proliferation record. Meanwhile, back home, Sarbanand Sonowal will be sworn in as the Chief Minister of Assam today. A host of dignitaries, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, are slated to attend the ceremony at the Khanapara field. Sonowal has also requested outgoing Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi to attend the ceremony. On Monday, Assam Governor Padmanabha Balakrishna Acharya dissolved the 13th Assam Assembly with effect from 21st of May. BJP and its alliance partners had won 86 seats in the 126-member assembly, putting an end to the Congress-led rule in the state for the past 15 years. Meanwhile, in Kerala, Governor Justice the retired P. Sathasivam has invited Pinarayi Vijayan to form the next government in the state. Vijayan was elected leader of the LDF legislature party. Well, in the 140-member Kerala Assembly, LDF has 91 MLAs, including CPIM's 58, CPI's 19 and 5 of the CPM-IND. Vijayan's name was suggested by Party Secretary Kodai Balakrishnan as per the decision of the State Committee, and it was approved by all the MLAs. After the meeting, Balakrishnan met the governor and staked the claim of the LDF to form the next government and also handed over letters initiating the election of Vijayan as the leader of the LDF parliamentary party and the expression of support from legislature party leaders of other constituents of the LDF. Now, the swearing-in ceremony of the proposed cabinet will be held on 25th of May at around 4 p.m. News from Uttarakhand, and Chief Minister Harish Rawat has been summoned by the CBI to appear before it today in connection with the Sting CD probe. The CD purportedly shows Rawat indulging in horse trading prior to the imposition of President's rule in the state. Rawat cabinet had earlier issued a notification withdrawing the CBI probe in the case. The Uttarakhand High Court had quashed the notification, saying that it was not legally tenable. Rawat's move had come soon after his government was reinstated after proving majority on the floor of the House under a Supreme Court-monitored trust vote. Now, Rawat says that he hopes that there will be an unbiased probe into the matter, and he has also assured full cooperation. Let's bring you some weather update. In Delhi and its surrounding areas witnessed a thunderstorm and heavy rains on Monday, bringing some respite from the heat wave that has been sweeping in the entire North India and other parts of the country as well. Rains were also experienced in several other states. With most parts of the country reeling under extreme heat as temperatures hovered around 45 degrees for the past 2 weeks, the brief rains on Monday brought much relief. Temperature fell by more than 10 degrees in northern India after dust storms followed by rains hit the region. While Kurukshetra in Haryana received rains causing a dip in temperature to 35 degrees Celsius, the temperature in Shimla plummeted to 19 degrees Celsius. The Met Department attributed the sudden change in weather to western disturbance in the northwest part of the country.
आज वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस एक आया है जो इस समय पाकिस्तान और जम्मू कश्मीर के ऊपर है और उसकी वजह से एक साइक्लोनिक सर्कुलेशन पंजाब के आसपास बना। ऐसे में जब हीटिंग होती है और मॉइस्चर होता है और साथ में सर्कुलेशन बन जाए, हवाएं घूमना शुरू कर दें, तो घने बादल और गहरे बादल बन जाते हैं। बिल्कुल वही फिनोमेना आज हरियाणा में और दिल्ली में इस समय देखा जा रहा है।
Strong winds also lashed the national capital, where temperature had hit 41 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. The brief spell of rains brought the temperature down to 30 degrees Celsius. Afternoon showers in Kolkata and most parts of West Bengal also brought some relief from heat. However, waterlogging was witnessed in a number of areas, throwing traffic out of gear. The Met Office said the weather is likely to be cloudy with rains predicted for today as well. This year's summer has been harsh as temperature in most parts of the country has risen by several degrees above normal, leading to deaths. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And a shocking story there. Now, the Union Health Ministry has ordered a probe after a study by the Centre for Science and Environment said that virtually all top bread brands in the country, in fact, Delhi, contained cancer-causing chemicals. The report said that nearly 84% of the 38 commonly available brands of the pre-packaged breads, including pav and buns, tested positive for potassium bromate and potassium iodate, which is banned in many countries as they are listed as hazardous for public health. Now, the bread samples which were tested included brands such as Britannia, Harvest Gold and fast food chains like KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Subway, McDonald's and Slice of Italy. Also, Britannia, KFC, Domino's, McDonald's and now Subway have denied that these chemicals were used in their products, and other brands have not commented on this. Meanwhile, CSE has urged the food regulator FSSAI to ban the use of potassium bromate and potassium iodate with immediate effect. FSSAI has said it has decided to remove potassium bromate from the list of permitted additives, while it is also examining the evidence against potassium iodate before restricting its use.
मैंने अपने अधिकारियों को कहा है कि इसकी तुरंत जांच की जाए। FSSAI इस विषय को देख रही है। मैं ज़रूर ये कहना चाहूँगा कि इसमें पैनिक होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है और इसमें घबराने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। बहुत जल्द सरकार इसकी डिटेल्स को देख करके जो भी इसमें उचित कदम उठाने को होगा वो हम उठाएंगे।
ब्रेड सही नहीं है, मैदा जो है वो अंदर आपको तकलीफ तो देगा ही, क्योंकि मैदा बहुत जल्दी अपने इंडियन डाइजेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हो।
इट कुड बी पॉसिबल बिकॉज आजकल का जो टाइम है उसमें किसी भी चीज़ में कई सारी मिलावटें होती हैं।
हम लोग तो ब्रेड खा के बड़े हुए हैं, अभी तक कैंसर हुआ नहीं है, बट मे बी बिकॉज इट इज मेड आउट ऑफ फ्लावर, इट इज वाइज टू अवॉइड इट एट अ सर्टेन एज।
सुना जाता है कि ब्रेड पाउंड से दबा के बनाई जाती है, तो उससे काफ़ी लोगों के जर्म्स वगैरह उस ब्रेड में आते हैं, तो उससे कई लोग जैसे पुरानी ब्रेड खा लेते हैं तो उनके पेट वगैरह प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है।
Meanwhile, we have breaking news coming in at this moment. Now, President Pranab Mukherjee has signed an ordinance on the Uniform Medical Entrance Examination NEET. Well, the cabinet has issued the ordinance last week, and the signing came after President sought more information on the ordinance from the Union Health Minister. Well, this ordinance seeks to keep the state boards out of the purview of NEET for 1 year. The ordinance was issued following the Supreme Court order making NEET the only entrance test for admission to medical colleges. Several states had objected to it after issues were raised by students as well as parents. Now, Health Minister's meeting on Monday with the President lasted for more than half an hour. The ministers learned to have briefed the President on 3 set of issues, including different exams of state boards, syllabi also, and the regional languages. Story coming in from Kerala. Well, in a landmark judgment, the National Green Tribunal on Monday banned light and heavy diesel vehicles which are more than 10 years old in 6 municipal corporations in the state. The ban has been imposed in 6 major cities of Kerala, including the state capital Thiruvananthapuram as well as commercial capital Kochi. The tribunal also directed the state government not to register any diesel vehicle in the capacity of 2000 cc and more, except the public transport and local authority vehicles. Now, a fine of 5,000 rupees will be imposed by the traffic police if any vehicle is found to be in violation of the new direction. Both the State Police and Pollution Control Board will maintain separate accounts in this regard, and the funds will be utilized for the betterment of environment in these cities. The issue was ordered because of a petition which was filed by the Lawyers Environmental Awareness Forum. The forum sought action against a highly polluting diesel vehicles such as trucks as well as buses. It also noted that Kochi and other major cities have earned the reputation of being the most polluted cities.
About 2000 cc diesel car, more than 10 years old, plying in particular town, especially Trivandrum, Kochi, Kollam, Calicut and Kannur. And also made a specific direction. Within 30 days, these vehicles may not be plied in these cities.
This verdict came as a surprise to us, because when we took the statistics of the outcome of this decision, we found that about 2 lakhs vehicles, about 200,000 vehicles have to be withdrawn from the public roads in a month. So then there will be a big vacuum. So who will fill up this one?
And we'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Mega Spectrum auctions of 2016, which we hope to have around July of this year, will put spectrum in enough quantity on the table. 100,000 gram panchayats would be connected with 100 Mbps, which is huge speeds. Next couple of years, India will become a hub for the manufacture of mobile phones. I expect a figure of 500 million mobile phones to be manufactured in India by 2018-19.
What Telecom Secretary G.S. Deepak articulate in State of the Economy on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. Now let's get to some international news. Well, around 150 people have been killed and at least 200 others have been hurt as 5 suicide devices and 3 car bombs exploded through the cities of Tartus and Jabal in Syria. Now, it is a highly symbolic blow against the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad by the Islamic State, which is already sparking reprisals. Death and destruction. More than 150 people are said to have been killed and 200 wounded in bomb attacks in Syrian coastal cities of Jabal and Tartus on Monday. 5 suicide bombers and 3 car bombs went off in Syrian leader Assad's heartland. A bus station was hit in the coastal city of Tartus. This has never happened before. The war has always seemed distant here. Not today. School books in the debris after one attack among the victims. Student.
صار أول انفجار سيارة مفخخة ضمن الكراج هو صار الانفجار ردت العالم اجا واحد ثاني فجر حاله حزام ناسف اجا عباب الكراج كمان حزام ناسف ردت العالم باتجاه بالساعة 10 وقت الطلوع لطلاب المدارس.
وصلت لهون صفينا ما لحقنا نصف يعني ما في نص دقيقة طلع الانفجار. أنا واقف محل ماني واقف في سيارة خلف مني فوان شعلت والأمامي لقيت شهداء على الأرض لا فيني بقى بسحب سيارتي لا بقى فيني بعمل شيء.
50 miles along the road, more carnage at a bus stop in a hospital in the town of Jabal.
نسعف الجرحى وننزلهم فإذا نحن قربنا على السيارة وصرنا بدنا ننزل الجرحى صار انفجار داخل المشفى فلما صار الانفجار داخل المشفى فرجعنا نحن لورا.
It will alarm the Syrian government that the Islamic State can insert operatives here where security should be pervasive. Monday's attacks is also seen as a message for the government's most important ally, Russia, which operates an air base nearby.
There's going to be a revision of security. Since these guys can get so close, there should be more security. So that's standard procedure. There's going to be beefed up security at the Russian military installations.
Russian fighter bombers take off from Jabal daily, targeting opposition strongholds, some held by the Islamic State, but mostly by the other rebel groups. An IS statement said today's attacks were meant for Russians who could taste the deaths that Muslims taste from Russian airstrikes.
Fighting has increased in other parts of Syria in recent weeks as world powers struggle to revive a threadbare ceasefire and resurrect peace talks that collapsed in Geneva this year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
More news from the Middle East. And a suicide car bombing claimed by the Islamic State killed at least 50 army recruits and injured more than 60 in the Yemeni city of Aden. The attack occurred as the recruits lined up to enlist for the military service at the home of a senior general in the Khor Maksar district of Aden. The port city serves as the temporary capital of Yemen's Saudi-backed administration, while it seeks to seize back the capital Sana'a from the armed Houthi group. The attacks follow gains by the Yemeni government forces backed by the UAE, which mounted an offensive on Al-Qaeda militants in the southern towns beginning last month. Yemen has been under the grip of one of the most active regional Al-Qaeda insurgencies. More than 6,000 people have been killed in ground battles and airstrikes since 2009, half of them being civilians. And on to the other big international story. Well, the United States has said that it will continue to target terrorists who harm its interests. Now, Washington's statement comes as Pakistan summoned its envoy in reaction to the killing of Afghan Taliban leader Mullah Mansoor in its territory in a U.S. drone strike. The U.S. has said it respects Pakistan's sovereignty, but maintains that it had informed Pakistan of its move.
The United States saying that while it respects Pakistan's sovereignty, it will carry out strikes to eliminate terrorists who are targeting its forces. Washington says that while the death of Mullah Mansoor does not mean defeat of the Taliban, it does send a clear message.
Mullah Mansoor, as I said a moment ago, has been actively involved in planning attacks in Kabul, across Afghanistan, presenting a threat to Afghan civilians and to the coalition forces that are there.
Washington also refuting Pakistan's charge it was not informed and that the strike was a violation of its sovereignty.
We have had long-standing conversations with Pakistan and Afghanistan about this objective with respect to Mullah Mansoor, and both countries' leaders were notified of the airstrike. I'm not going to get into further details about timing and TikToks. I will say to you that this morning I know that General Nicholson talked directly to General Raheel Sharif, and I talked directly to Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif.
A fuming Pakistan also summoned US Ambassador David Hale to express concern over the drone strike. Islamabad conveying to the US that the strike is also a breach of the UN's charter. However, despite Mansoor's death, the dream of peace talks with Taliban seems far-fetched. While Mansoor fervently opposed talks, his most likely successor, Afghan guerrilla commander Sirajuddin Haqqani, would likely prove an even more implacable foe of beleaguered Afghan government forces and their US allies. Mansoor consolidated his grip by winning territory and bringing the fractured insurgency together on the battlefield. His successor will likely be tempted by the same tactic. Senior Afghan Taliban figures met on Monday to agree on Mansoor's successor.
فعلا پالیسیش هم است که با دولت با حکومتی ها جنگ نکنه، روش بسیار نرم است. یک قسمت اینا ممکن با داعشی ها بپیونده و یک قسمت اینا طبعا با حرکت اسلامی ازبکستان و با حرکت ترکستان شرقی ایتم و همچنان OIM با اینا شاید بپیونده.
While the US strike on Mansoor indicates impatience with Pakistan's continued proximity to the Afghan Taliban, it also shows White House frustration with the situation in Afghanistan, with US deciding disarray, chaos and even a leadership struggle preferable than a status quo. However, while Mansoor's death gives an opportunity for US to provide a simple answer to those who say it is losing the war in Afghanistan, it may not bring the peace that is sought. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's get you some more international news in World Wrap. An Egyptian official has said that the Egypt Air flight that crashed in the Mediterranean did not swerve and change direction before disappearing, challenging an earlier account by the Greece. Earlier, Greece's defense minister has said that the plane turned 90 degrees left and then did a 360-degree turn towards the right before plummeting. But the head of Egypt's state-run provider of air navigation services says that there was no unusual movement. Austria's new president has vowed to listen to the people's fear and anger after his far-right opponent narrowly missed out on a landmark victory. Independent Alexander Van der Bellen beat the Freedom Party's Norbert Hofer by just 31,000 votes in the Sunday's election. The WHO has said that the spread of Zika is the price being paid for a massive policy failure on mosquito control. Speaking at the agency's annual World Health Assembly, its leader Margaret Chan said that experts had dropped the ball in the 1970s with regards to getting a handle on the disease-carrying insects. The former president of the Maldives, Mohammed Nasheed, has been granted refugee status in the UK, according to his lawyer. Nasheed, the opposition leader, was jailed for 13 years under anti-terror laws last year. He became the nation's first democratically elected leader in the year 2008, ending 3 decades of rule by the former strongman Mahmoud Abdul Gayoom. Time now to get you all the sporting action. Here is the sports beat. The BCCI on Monday announced the Indian team for the upcoming Zimbabwe tour to be played in June this year. Skipper Mahendra Singh Dhoni will lead the 16-member Indian squad for the 3 ODIs and 3 T20 internationals. Senior players Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan have been arrested from the tour of Zimbabwe. India's ace queuist Pankaj Advani created history in Abu Dhabi by clinching the Asian 6-red snooker title. He also became the first queuist in the world to hold both the world and the continental titles in the 6-red snooker at the same time. Sushila Chanu Pokharambam will lead the 17-member Indian women's hockey squad in the Four-Nation tournament in Australia. Sushila has been appointed as the captain in place of regular skipper Ritu Rani, who has been rested. Deepika has been retained as the vice captain. The tournament will be starting on the 30th of May and will feature world number 3 Australia, also 4th ranked New Zealand and world number 10 Japan. Manchester United will make an announcement about the future of manager Louis van Gaal on Monday amid the British media reports that the Dutchman has been sacked. Speculation has been rife since United's victory in the FA Cup final on Saturday that Van Gaal will be fired by the Premier League club and will be replaced by Portuguese Jose Mourinho. And 10-man Barcelona defeated Sevilla 2-0 to clinch their second straight Copa del Rey title on Sunday. After a goalless regulation time, Jordi Alba scored a goal in the 7th minute into the extra time. Later, Neymar closed the scoring in stoppage time after a perfect setup by Lionel Messi to give Barcelona their 28th Copa trophy. Well, that's all in this edition of News, but news and updates continue on your channel. Thanks for your time.